The final jobs report of the year falls short of expectations. I'm Natalie Brand with why analysts are calling the news mixed and pointing to a bright spot ahead of the holidays.
Teaching during COVID. New numbers show how teachers and students are doing as they navigate classes during the pandemic.
And it's another mild day here, but these temperatures won't last much longer. When you could see some snow and some colder weather in your Storm Team 8 forecast.
KCCI 8 News at noon starts right now.
Well, with help wanted signs in so many businesses, today's monthly jobs report was expected to show a sharp gain in jobs. But the new jobs report from the U.S. Department of Labor shows only 210,000 jobs were created last month, the fewest in nearly a year. The U.S. unemployment, however, fell sharply to 4.2%. Natalie Brand has the latest from Washington.
The final jobs report of the year did not quite deliver the holiday cheer analysts had predicted.
I think this is a mixed report, and I would be very careful about jumping to conclusions.
The Labor Department says just 210,000 jobs were added in November, less than half of what was expected. But unemployment fell to 4.2%. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger says that's where the good news lies.
And what's really important also to note is that the unemployment rate went down for the right reason. There were more people in the labor force, so that was a positive, and also that a lot of those people got jobs.
The Labor Department report says professional and business services had the biggest gains, followed by transportation and warehousing, then construction and manufacturing, to be expected heading into the holiday season.
We've averaged nearly 400,000 new jobs a month over the last 3 months, a solid pace.
Amid continued COVID concerns, the labor market remains tight, with more open positions than workers looking for jobs.
We're looking to put on another 40,000 people just for the holidays, and many of them, again, will stay with us long term.
The U.S. Postal Service is among employers trying to staff up right now.
We know that it's going to be another record season for packages.
As for the economy overall, Jill Schlesinger says it's a critical time with new uncertainty over this latest COVID variant.
We hope it doesn't backslide, but we really have to watch this carefully.
Heading into 2022, analysts say the pandemic could continue to impact the pace of recovery. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
Well, also in Washington, Congress averted a possible government shutdown by passing a stopgap bill to fund the government through mid-February. Now, if Congress didn't pass the bill before tonight's midnight deadline, it could have forced a possible government shutdown. And new numbers from the Department of Public Health show the number of new COVID cases continues to climb. There have been more than 9,700 positive COVID cases in the last 7 days. That's an increase of more than 16% from Wednesday. Iowa's positivity rate also inched up to 11.5%. The number of patients hospitalized with COVID is also climbing. Hospitals are now treating 747 COVID patients, the most since 1 year ago. And Europe is also seeing a rise in COVID-19 cases as well. There is a growing concern it could get worse with the Omicron variant. Ian Lee shows us the tough new restrictions in Europe ahead of the holidays.
Germany wants to keep the party going, but to avoid future lockdowns, the party is over for the unvaccinated. The government is restricting them from all but essential businesses like supermarkets and pharmacies. Germany is currently dealing with its worst COVID outbreak. Their Air Force recently resumed flights to move critical COVID patients from overwhelmed regions to ones less affected. And with new concerns about the Omicron variant, authorities are considering making vaccines mandatory as early as February. Neighboring Austria imposed its strict lockdown last month as COVID cases grew out of control. To help end it, children are rolling up their sleeves. The country recently approved the Pfizer vaccine for kids as young as 5. Here in the UK, COVID cases remain high, but Prime Minister Boris Johnson has played down any talk of a lockdown, saying it's important for everyone eligible to get their booster.
Whatever Omicron may or may not be able to do, it certainly will not negate the overall value of the boosters.
As attention turns toward the upcoming Winter Olympic Games in China, people are worried. The country continues to report new COVID cases despite harsh restrictions and its zero COVID policy. Beijing says the show will go on, but because of COVID, it'll look similar to last summer's games in Tokyo, with no international fans allowed. Ian Lee, CBS News, London.
Well, fans in China will be allowed to attend the games, but must follow strict COVID rules. And this week, Japan is taking strict steps to try and prevent the spread of the new Omicron variant. Japan is closing its borders to new foreign entrants for about a month. Now, a Tokyo Art Museum is taking an unusual step to encourage social distancing. So visitors must use a clear plastic umbrella while looking at exhibits. And the artist who suggested the idea said he got it from his grandchildren. The grandchildren told him their elementary teachers advised them to hold umbrellas while commuting to schools to help them keep their distance. And new at noon, the Iowa Department of Education released its annual report on Iowa schools and students. KCCI's Bo Bowman joins us now to break down some of those numbers. Hey, Bo.
Well, Tisia, the report details statistics like who qualifies for free and reduced lunch and what classes kids are taking and how many kids are enrolled in those K-12 classes. That number is down. 490,000 were enrolled last year. That's dropped by about 6,000 kids this year. Looking at teachers now, Iowa employs about 500 more teachers compared to the 2019-2020 school year. Their average pay has also increased about $800. Another interesting statistic, the number of districts offering advanced placement classes has declined about 3% from 54.3 to 51.7%. A more detailed report will be available online. A new version of the site will be available next month at reports.educateiowa.gov. Tisia?
All right, thanks, Bo. Des Moines Schools is opening up enrollment today for its virtual campus next school year. Virtual campus is for students in 6th grade to 12th grade. And for more information on classes and enrollment, go to dmschools.org. A man remains in critical condition this afternoon after a shooting last night at the Main Gate Bar and Grill near the Iowa State Fairgrounds. Des Moines police say the victim is expected to recover. There are no arrests yet in this case. And today, an Iowa judge says he will not reduce the $1 million bond for two teens accused of killing a Fairfield Spanish teacher. Willard Miller and Jeremy Gooddale are charged with first-degree murder. They are both 16, and lawyers for both teenagers requested the bond to be reduced so they can await trial outside of jail. Prosecutors say both teenagers murdered Noema Graber last month. Her body was found in a Fairfield park. Well, Iowa's getting more than $100 million to help improve and upgrade water quality around the state. The money is coming from a grant from the Environmental Protection Agency. Some of the funding would be used to remove so-called forever chemicals, which have been linked to health problems like cancer, liver damage, and decreased fertility. These grants are part of the $1 trillion infrastructure bill approved by Congress and signed into law last month. All right, let's talk about good news here in the forecast. Today is another day where we are expecting beautiful temperatures out there. It's the perfect day to just get outside.
Yeah, it feels great outside right now. We were a little bit chillier this morning.
Oh, I know.
You were out there. You know, you had the coat and the hat and the gloves and everything. And I will admit, yes, you maybe need an extra layer or two this morning. But I think by this afternoon, it'll be nice enough where you can shed some of those layers. Sunshine outside right now. I don't think we'll see as much cloud cover as we did yesterday. So a mostly sunny sky. We're at 50 degrees right now here in downtown Des Moines. Winds are quiet, and I think they'll stay that way through much of the day today. Other temperatures across the state were into the mid-50s the further south you go. 55 at Lamoni. We are at 48 up in Fort Dodge, and then upper 40s as well as you head towards Mason City there and Waterloo. Nothing really to point out as far as rain or snow goes on Super Doppler 8. We are quiet. Most of our cloud cover is off to the north and to the east. So should be a mostly sunny day today. Temperatures are back up into the mid to upper 50s this afternoon. So we'll be a little bit or close, I should say, to the temperatures we saw yesterday. Close to 60, but a few degrees shy of it. It's another above average day for us, though. Colder air gets here by next week. We'll talk about when that hits your neighborhood in my Storm Team 8 forecast.
Looking forward to that. Thank you, Ann. Well, you know what? It's not just the Iowa Hawkeyes and Michigan Wolverines getting ready for tomorrow's Big Ten football championship in Indianapolis. Businesses are preparing for the large crowds coming through their city. Now, fans have already been flooding downtown hotels and bars, and the city hasn't seen a crowd like this since March Madness ended. Now, KCCI Sports Director Scott Reister and Jeff Dubroff are in Indianapolis today, and they'll show us the atmosphere at the team's hotel as they await the championship game tonight on KCCI 8 News at 5 and 6. The Big Ten Championship kicks off on Saturday at 7 p.m. in Indianapolis, and you can find the game on Fox. Well, this morning, the 11th annual Operation Christmas Meal took place at the Iowa State Fairgrounds. 5,000 pork loins were handed out to hungry Iowans. Iowa Select Farms and Deb and Jeff Hansen Foundation hosted the event, and the goal is to combat food insecurity. So last year, the event was canceled due to the pandemic, but organizers say they are just happy to be back and feed the community.
It's really important for us to give back, especially in a community like Des Moines. You know, it's the heart and soul of our state here in the capital, and we want to give back to our rural communities, but here in Des Moines as well. So it's really special to see all these cards.
It certainly is special. Well, the event ended at 8 a.m. this morning, and organizers say there will be more events like this across the state. Well, there is a chance for snow here in Iowa next week, and as the air cools down outside, you may find yourself fiddling with that thermostat. But with heating bills expected to increase by 60%, KCCI's Bo Bowman explains why you might want to think twice.
That's what they're predicting right now, but that's dependent on the weather, and that's just natural gas usage. They say there are a couple reasons why, but the biggest is the decrease in storage space. I spoke with Nicole Breitbach with Black Hills Energy, and she tells me there are some things you can do to help conserve energy and keep those bills as low as possible. The first thing you should do is have your furnace inspected. Make sure its filter is clean and working. Otherwise, the appliance just won't work exactly right. Breitbach also suggests looking into programmable thermostats, allowing it to get colder when you're at work or asleep. But to keep the cold air out, you need to check your windows and doors too.
Making sure that you're caulking your doors and windows, weather stripping, a few things you can do to see if that needs to be done. I've heard some tips and tricks of like shining a flashlight in from the outside of your home in the dark. Seeing if you can kind of slip a piece of paper or a quarter through, but anytime you notice cracks where you're seeing light, that's definitely a place where you should be looking to kind of wrap up a little bit, tighten that space so that you can conserve some of that heat.
Now, if you're afraid of falling behind on your bill, Breitbach says most companies offer a budget billing option, allowing you to space out those bigger payments throughout the year.
All right, thanks, Bo. Well, actor Alec Baldwin speaks out on a deadly shooting on his movie Rust. Why? He says the tragedy is not his fault. Books versus tablets, the one parents should choose when reading to their children. And the zoo that's now home to this cute and rare new resident.
This is Iowa's news leader, KCCI 8 News at noon.
Well, Alec Baldwin described the moments on a New Mexico movie set when a rehearsal turned into a deadly shooting. Omar Villafranca shows us why Baldwin says he's not to blame for the tragedy.
I feel that someone is responsible for what happened, and I can't say who that is, but I know it's not me.
In his first sit-down interview since the fatal shooting on the set of the movie Rust in New Mexico, actor Alec Baldwin says he is not responsible for the death of cinematographer Halyna Hutchins, despite being the person who held the gun when it discharged.
I might have killed myself if I thought I was responsible. I don't say that lightly.
Baldwin broke down during the interview while remembering Hutchins.
She was someone who was loved by everyone who worked with and liked by everyone who worked with and admired.
Hutchins was killed, and director Joel Souza was wounded when the .45 caliber prop gun fired a live bullet. The actor says the revolver went off when he and Hutchins were rehearsing.
I take the gun and I start to cock the gun. I'm not going to pull the trigger. I said, do you see that? She goes, well, just cheat it down and tilt it down a little bit like that. And I cock the gun. I go, can you see that? Can you see that? Can you see that? And she says, and then I let go of the hammer of the gun and the gun goes off.
That's extremely unusual.
Veteran movie picture armorer Dutch Merrick says the type of gun Baldwin used is not supposed to discharge like that.
So something tells me that this gun, if it operated the way he says, was not functioning according to the way it was designed.
Baldwin's assertion that he did not pull the trigger was supported by the film's assistant director, Dave Halls, according to his lawyer. Investigators are looking into how a live round got into the gun that Baldwin was practicing with.
Where did that bullet come from? Somebody brought live rounds, plural, onto the set of the film.
No criminal charges have been filed. Baldwin said he talked to people in the know who say it is highly unlikely he will be criminally charged. When asked if his career is over, he replied, it could be. Omar Villafranca, CBS News, Dallas.
Well, it was a day of mourning in Russia. 51 people were killed in a methane explosion in a coal mine last week, but the death toll continues to climb. Emergency workers continue to carry out search operations in the coal mine, and the director of the Russian Mine Rescue Department says bodies are still being found in the mine. 5 people have been arrested in connection with the explosion. 76 other people were injured in the blast. Well, 30 young basketball players in Chicago got a big surprise from one of the biggest fans of the sport. Former President Barack Obama paid a surprise visit at a youth sports workshop at a Southside YMCA. The workshop consists of boys and girls between 14 and 18 years old. And President Obama briefly spoke to them about the impact of places like the Southside YMCA. He then participated in a few basketball drills with the players, and the workshop is organized by the Chicago Bulls. The Sydney Zoo in Australia has a new and very rare resident. Now, this baby hippo was born 2 weeks ago and is the first pygmy hippo calf born in the zoo in over 4 years. There are less than 3,000 of them left in the wild. Even though they're smaller in size than the river hippo, they can still grow to more than 660 pounds. I'm sorry, that is so cute. Honestly, I would take it home for a pet if I could. I don't know about you, Ann. No? Am I crazy?
I would let it.
Hippos
stay
are
where it
adorable.
belongs.
And elephants. Let me stop talking.
Yeah, but you have a dog. She has a dog.
I
so you have your dog to take care of. You don't need it.
Can you imagine Cardi and hippos? That'd be a fight.
That could be interesting.
Yeah.
I will give you credit though for saying it was cold this morning because
yes.
check out where temperatures were. We ended up bottoming out at 36 here in Des Moines, right at freezing there in Ames, upper 20s out towards Carroll. So it was a chilly start to the morning, and I think as we go through the afternoon, temperatures are on the rise here and will continue to climb back up into the mid-50s. Super Doppler 8 shows you just a little bit of cloud cover back off to the north and to the east. Otherwise, we are mostly clear with sunshine here across central portions of the state. Going into the day today, we stay mild. Weekend really doesn't look that bad either. It'll just be a little bit cooler on Saturday, but Sunday's back up into the 50s. So right now, right at 50 degrees here in Des Moines and Ankeny, 48 in Perry. It's warmer down to our south. where we have mid-50s there towards places like Creston and Lamoni. 12-hour forecast keeps temperatures in the mid-50s through early evening, and then we'll slowly drop off here into the low 40s by about 10 and 11 o'clock this evening. So we've got a mostly clear sky tonight. Temperatures will drop later on once the sun sets. The weekend planner, I think tomorrow will be cooler with highs in the mid-40s, but more sunshine. Sunday looks a lot cloudier, I think. Definitely turns windy. We've got a cold front coming in on Sunday that will stir up the winds, and it'll be gusty there Sunday night into Monday of next week. And overnight low temperatures get colder too, especially going into Monday and Tuesday. I think as we're waking up early next week, we've got overnight lows into the low 20s, which is close to average for this time of year, and that's where we should be. We've had some mild nights over the last week or so. Hour by hour forecast here just for today keeps the sunshine around, maybe a few passing clouds, but that's about it. And I think tomorrow we see a good deal of sunshine for Saturday, a mix of sun and clouds here tomorrow. Winds will stay calm, I think, on Saturday. It's Sunday where we'll start to see those winds peak right around dinner time or so Sunday afternoon and evening, gusts to about 40 miles per hour in some spots. So breezy Sunday night, even into Monday. This is early Monday morning at 5 a.m. Notice some wind gusts upwards still of about 35 miles per hour. So breezy once that cold front comes through on Sunday. It'll stay pretty windy through the early evening hours on Monday. So tonight, mid-50s here across the state. Tonight we'll drop down, or today I should say rather, we'll stay in the mid-50s. Tonight we'll drop down into the mid-20s under a mostly clear sky. 31 this evening in Des Moines. 8-day forecast for you. Mid-40s Saturday, 50s on Sunday. Breezy for Monday, but it's a lot colder. Highs in the mid-30s Monday afternoon. And the chance for a little bit of snow is in the forecast there. Right now, no major accumulation, but definitely some snowflakes in the air, probably Tuesday and Wednesday. Highs will stay in the mid-30s through the first part of next week.
Sounds good. Thank you, Ann. Told you it was cold this morning. All right, well, KCCI is welcoming a new show to your afternoon lineup. Starting Monday, December 6th, the Kelly Clarkson Show moves to 3 o'clock. The show, hosted by Emmy and Grammy Award-winning artist Kelly Clarkson, currently appears on KCCI every weeknight at 12:37 a.m. Well, reading to children is critical to their development. Why it matters when parents read from a tablet instead of a traditional book. Welcome back. Well, doctors say parents should read out loud to their kids every day to help their development. And many parents may turn to technology and read to their children from tablets. Bradley Blackburn explains research shows actual books are better for young children.
He's ready for some fun.
Alice Liao is mom to 3 children under 4. She says story time is one of their favorite activities.
Each kiddo gets to pick a book, and we'll sit down on the couch and read the books before they officially go to bed.
And she says the family has found reading from a book is more fun than reading on a digital device.
We love it when books have like different textures. There are flaps for them to, kind of play with and uncover and see.
A new study in pediatrics compared the interactions of parents and children ages 2 to 3 when reading traditional books and tablet apps. Parents talked more to their children while reading a book, and children responded less to their parents using the tablet.
Those kind of back and forth interactions between a parent and a child are like brain food for kids. They build the foundations of children's language and social and emotional development that really span a lifetime.
Study author Dr. Tiffany Munzer is a developmental behavioral pediatrician at Michigan Medicine. She says with technology here to stay, parents should view digital media with their young children.
Finding ways to ask open-ended questions about the digital content so that it relates it back to the child's experiences. So asking, what do you see here on this?
Now what will he do?
Alice limits her children's screen time and says reading together is a bonding experience for everyone.
Cuddling them while we're reading these stories, it just makes me feel really connected to them.
She says with so many moments in the day interrupted by technology, it's nice for the family to curl up with a good book. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
And Dr. Munzer says children prone to emotional outbursts also responded better to their parents when reading a traditional book compared with a device. All right, let's get another check on the forecast with Ian.
We have a milder weather expected today, or at least above average, 57, so not bad this afternoon. We'll be in the mid-40s tomorrow, low 50s Sunday, dry through the weekend, but gets colder next week. Cold front will come through Sunday, and we're talking mid-30s. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, a few snowflakes. Tuesday and Wednesday, so we'll keep an eye on that storm system.
Good thing I'm off all next week in the next 20 days. All right, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you guys back here at 5 and 6.